Hello and welcome to another episode of Jewel Von Jules. I am so happy that you all are here today. I have a special treat from you. And this channel is all about sustainability, horticulture, being able to grow your own fruits and veggies for yourself, being able to live a life that is sustainable for you and generations to come. So I thank you all for being here. If you are new to the channel, congratulations. Your journey has officially begun. Whether you know it or not, seeds will be planted. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and let our extremely special guests introduce themselves. Listen, y'all, it was such an honor to be able to visit their home, to visit their farm, to see the way that they're living, the way that their livelihood, the way the children were so immersed in the process of everything. I'm gonna just stop talking and I'm gonna let y'all see.
My name's Jeremy Clift. This is Wakatomika Homestead. Along with me and my wife Gisela, we run a little diversified homestead here. We have our main source of income is our cows. We milk 6 Jersey cows. And then the wife milks dairy goats, and we sell our milk through a herd share. We have a small farm store that we sell produce seasonally out of, and it's opening tomorrow, and we're having hanging basket sales. And then we do classes on butchering and home canning and home dairy, and it's just kind of what we do. It's my main source of income. This is my full-time job, and then the wife works from home, and then she helps when she's not there. So
Awesome. Thank you for that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what herd sharing is?
Sure. In the state of Ohio, I would be thrown in jail if I put a sign out in my front yard that said milk for sale. You're not allowed to sell raw milk to the general public, but you can sell milk if you own part of the cow on paper. So drinking milk from your cow that you own is legal. So what our customers do is we have them sign an agreement, and basically we're selling them a part of the cow. I don't know if it's the tail or the head or an udder or whatever, but that's Ohio state law says that's fine. And then we can then sell it. And one share, you get 2 gallons of milk a week, and they come to the farm here and they pick up their milk, and then we do occasionally sell cream and butter through the herd share too, but it's mostly just the raw, it's just filtered milk that hasn't been pasteurized or nothing. It's all from Jersey.
So for the people that are very interested in homesteading, but they have absolutely no idea what any of these terms mean, what exactly does it mean for milk to be pasteurized?
So Louis Pasteur in the 1800s, I don't know where, in France, there was milk was very contaminated because the Industrial Revolution was coming along. And these new milking machines was coming out. People were moving from the country into the city, and they didn't have their sanitation practices was horrible. You know, you had people that came from the country and went into the city to work, and they would have a milk cow on a 1/4 of an acre and just live in really rough conditions. So the milk got contaminated. He came up with a process where you take the milk to a certain degree to kill the bacteria off, and then you bring it right back down. So you bring it up to temperature to kill the bacteria, and you bring it back down. And pasteurization saved countless lives. And I don't knock pasteurization whatsoever, but we just offer a raw milk product for people who just want something different. Because there is health benefits to drinking raw milk. The pasteurization process, while it makes the milk safer, it does take a lot of the nutrients and stuff like that out, and then store milk is also homogenized. So our milk will be cream top milk. So when you get a jar of our milk, at the top of the glass, the cream will rise from the milk. So a homogenized milk, they take it and put it in a centrifuge, and the fat molecules in the milk are actually mixed in with the regular milk, and our body can't process that as well as the cream top milk. So that's another benefit of our milk. Isn't pasteurized or homogenized. It's just straight from the animal, and it's filtered, and then that's it. So,
awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yep.
That's amazing. I honestly had no idea. My little one just turned one about a week ago.
Yep.
And our doctor's like, you need to start switching her to whole milk,
Yeah.
animal's milk.
Yeah.
But there's so many stigmas around cow's milk and different things. And it has nothing to do with the animal. It's the process.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I'll tell everybody that when they sign up, I'll tell them my milk is not 100% safe. Neither is the tap water you drink. If you go, you know, if you make a salad, you know, that lettuce could have E. coli in it. So, you know, there's no such thing as a safe food. But, you know, we've been doing this 2 years now, and no one's got sick from our milk. But it is, you know, that if kind of like eating raw shellfish, you know, you'll have a label on that. You know, people who are sensitive or you know, immunocompromised probably shouldn't eat that. You know, our milk's kind of the same, not as bad as raw shellfish, but, you know, I do warn people, like, you know, it is a raw product, and it changes seasonally too. You know, it'll be, our cream has went down since it's springtime, but the quality of the cream has gotten a little bit better. So our customers is kind of, you know, like, hey, what's happening to the cream? And you know, raw milk's a living product, so it's always a little bit different every time. You know, milk that comes out of a factory, you know, they have quality control processes, and it goes through, and it's highly processed food, so it's always the same. Well, my milk is unprocessed, so it does change with the seasons and stuff, which is kind of neat. Like, your butter that you would make from the cream now would be a lot more yellow, and that's the beta carotene in the milk coming out in the cream, where they've ate more of the fresh green grass as opposed to the hay in the winter time. So the milk in the summer, and especially now when you get the big first rush of spring, then it'll really be yellow, and the milk will change taste, and so will then the cream and the butter. So, but it just gets better for you, you know. So, and some people like, my wife calls it hay milk. She likes hay milk because it's a very neutral flavor. But then a lot of our customers can't wait to this time of year because the milk changes and it gives it a more depth of flavor, and it's just, and it's better for you because it's got all that beta carotene in it. You know, so yeah. Raw milk's really growing, and if you look hard enough, you probably could find a herd share in your area. I would recommend it, actually, if you get. If you want to try some milk here later on. Have you ever had raw milk?
No, I haven't. I've never been a milk person, and I think it was the lactose going down. But if you think about the process that it went through, maybe that's what I don't like.
It is, yeah, because the pasteurization, it changes the milk too. And 4 of our 6 cows are A2. Now, do you know anything about that? So milk is almost like blood, how you have blood types.
Oh, okay.
So A2 is the most digestible milk that there is. And then our other cows are A1. So that's the second easiest digestible. A1 is what most Holstein milk is. And so we've had a lot of our customers say, I can't drink milk, and I'm pretty sure I'm lactose intolerant. And we'll say, well, take a little bit of our milk and try a little cup. And we haven't had a single person that says, no, I can't drink your milk. All the people that said, I'm lactose intolerant, they can drink our milk just fine. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. And then these goats just drive me crazy.
Well, can you introduce us to some of your friends here?
So, well, we can start over here. Okay. Those are Cooney pigs over there. And if you want to step in,
Cooney pigs.
You can...
I wore the wrong shoes today. So this mama just gave birth. Is it okay for me to go near her?
Yep. She doesn't care a bit. She's doing her thing.
Hi, mama.
So these pigs over here are Coonies. That was our first non-poultry livestock that we got. They're a breed from New Zealand. And the Maori tribe, which was the natives of New Zealand, they traded with English whalers in the 1700s to create their own pig breed. And that's what they were almost extinct. And someone from Britain saved them from extinction in the 90s. So they're a great homestead hog. They don't have the big long nose that most hog breeds have. Their noses are really short. And so they don't root, and they're really good foragers. So they're perfect for small homestead, and the meat is exceptional. It is really, really good meat.
What do you mean by non-poultry pigs?
So that was our first non-poultry livestock that we got.
Okay.
So we got chickens first, and then so this was our first four-legged livestock that we had. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
My apologies.
Yeah, and when we first got into them, there was a really, really high demand, and everybody got breeding them and stuff. So there wasn't as much of a demand now. So with the dairy kind of taking off, we're kind of phasing the pigs out a little bit because we've had them for 5 or 6 years now. So we'll probably keep a couple, but they're just lazy old hogs. And then my wife is the one who does the goats. I know, look, that's awesome. This breed is a La Mancha, and her ears, it looks like they got frostbit or something. So that's the breed. That's how they're bred with no ears. I don't know why, but they are. And then our other breed is Nubians, and they've got really long ears, and they're both dairy breeds. So the goat milk is just about exactly the same as the cow milk. You know, it's raw, it's unfiltered, or it's filtered. You know, not processed or nothing. And people really, really like the goat milk. It's really, really clean tasting.
Like that goat.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. She's taking a siesta.
Why do people say that mommies are like really aggressive when they just had a baby, but this one seems to be?
Well, the goats are kind of different. They're just chill and laid back, especially dairy breeds. A dairy breed of any, whether it be cows, sheep, goats, they're more laid back because they've been bred for thousands of years to be interacted on a daily basis with humans. So they're just more docile, you know. Gotcha. I found that to be with just about any kind of dairy breeds, always going to be more calm. Now, this sow over here that has the piglets, she's really aggressive when she has piglets. Oh, wow. We've really got to pay attention to her and keep kids and stuff away from her because she gets really aggressive. She's a really good mother, but until the pigs are about as big as they are now, she gets really aggressive. So
thank you.
She just, yeah. We can come over here and take a look at her.
The baby wants to go.
Hey, good job, baby.
Yes.
Good job, baby.
Yes, baby.
That's what I wanted to see as I'm standing.
Look at this one. Hi.
You can come over here and we can take a look at her.
Look, this pig's laying eggs.
Yep. This is Jasmine. She's our biggest sow.
Hi, Jasmine.
She just pigged. How old are these pigs, Riker? Couple months? Yeah, couple months.
They're so cute.
Yeah. They're brother and sister. Them piglets are cute whenever they're born.
Yes. Hello.
And he just won't leave you alone.
Hello. What's his name?
Bilo.
Bilo.
That's old Bilo. Or Wobbles. He has two names.
Hey, Wobbles. Don't kick him, Looney. Oh, they are adorable.
They are cute. You know, if they stayed that cute, I don't think I could butcher them. So that's what I tell people. But we butcher our own animals around here. We raise pastured poultry. So we do that, and that's we also sell off the farm. The state of Ohio, you can sell 999 birds off of your farm if they're raised here and slaughtered here. So we have a pretty good clientele with that, and then we raise some for ourselves, and then we raise hogs and we butcher them, and we butcher beef for people. So we're pretty big into the butchering. Chicken waterers.
Chicken waterers.
Yeah. Oh. Yep. So I'll show you one. Oh, that's a feeder. There, lots of water. So when you turn them upside down, fill this with water, and then they drink out of there and stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And since we're back in this corner, we're going to show you the chickens here.
The chickens.
Anybody in there? Is there any eggs?
Look at the chicken.
If you don't mind getting a little manure on your feet, you can step right in. Of course, they all went out. But this is our chicken house and stuff. We've had chickens. That was the first livestock we had whenever we came. They're pretty easy to raised. I've had chickens pretty much all my life. So.
Nice. Oh, you can't be in here with the chickens. Let me back out. So
yeah, there's not much to see in here. Come on, get down. Get down. Get back.
Do they ever mess with the chickens?
Nope, they don't even pay attention to each other. The chickens are, if one gets out, they're good with the goats, and the goats they don't even pay attention to them. Nice. Really, the pigs too. The pigs would pretty be aggressive to them, but they don't. I've seen chickens walk on the pig's back, and they're just fine. And then this is our dairy herd. Now we're not milking goats right now. They're all they're out of their lactation. So, but we're getting ready to. So of course, you know, the mother that just birthed today, then we'll start milking her.
So you can only milk them after they've had babies.
Yeah.
What happens once they're out of their lactation?
So then they breed them back. So you'll keep them bred, and then you know. So that's kind of the thing of a dairy. There's always birth on a dairy because you need to keep the birth cycle going, because whether it be a sheep, a goat, or a cow, their lactation goes down eventually. So you know, and then once they birth, then it goes right back up, and you want to keep them in peak lactation. You know, that way they'll give the most milk that they can.
Do you have to separate the men and the women, or the females and the males?
Yeah, so he's kind of a cleanup Billy. You know, all of our girls should be bred, but just in case some of them aren't, then we've kept him in with them. Just if when they come into the next heat cycle, if they wasn't bred, then he would catch them, and then they would get bred. The girl that was here, he usually lives over at her house. Okay. So she keeps them, and then that way we can kind of do controlled breeding and stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay. Hi.
He's a pest sometimes. That's the boys' goats. So all the little goats that's running around, that's theirs. So they're, except Bilo. So they're just kind of pet ornamental goats. They don't do much.
Hello. I just don't want her to kick them in the face.
Oh, yeah, they're fine. She's fine. She ain't gonna hurt them things. If you watch them play, they just, I mean, just cram each other in the face. So her little feet ain't gonna hurt a thing. You ain't gonna hurt nothing, are you? No, you ain't. You wanna go see cows? Let's go see these cows.
Okay, so who is this feed for? Okay,
this is our cattle feed, and it's also our goat feed. We get it from a local Amish feed mill.
Okay.
And then it's not certified, but it is non-GMO feed. So awesome. I can't afford organic feed because I couldn't pass that cost on to the customers. But gotcha. I did find a mill that has non-GMO feed, so that's still pretty good.
Is it weird that it kind of smells good, like an oat bar?
No, it does. Put your nose in there. It smells really good.
Yeah, it does.
It has molasses on it, so that's what you're smelling.
Okay, gotcha.
When we take feed home from the mill and we put it in the cab, if it's raining or something, oh, it smells delicious.
Yeah,
it smells really good.
I thought something was wrong with me. Like, this smells tasty.
We've had kids here that actually try to eat a little bit of it.
Oh no!
So
look at that little tail.
Now you might want to record this because this is pretty good. The cows are up there on the hill, and they'll come running down as soon as they hear me.
Let's see that.
Hey, quit! Come on, Skip! 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 Come on! Once they get down the hill, they'll go nuts. Come on!
What did you say, Skip?
My grandpa, when he hollered for cows, he always said scaff.
Scaff?
It's not an actual word. That's just what he yelled, and so that kind of stuck. Come on, scaff! 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 Come on! Come on! Watch out.
Look at it.
Come on! Skip!
Hello.
Come on! So this is Clementine.
Hi,
She's our original cow. She kind of started the whole thing.
Yeah, you're the first cow.
She is the first cow, yeah. Yep.
Hi, Clementine.
She's a sweetheart. She's a really good girl.
There's Blue.
Hello, Blue.
When we started in with cows, we only wanted one because it was just going to be a family cow. Then I lost my job of 21 years with the Air Force two years ago, and so then the herdshare kind of took off, and now it's my full-time job.
Wow.
So
Did you know her name was Blue because of her blue harness? Is that how you remember?
We just know they're, you know, we milk twice a day, so you know these cows are handled, you know, constantly, and she's the only one with horns. So it's blueberry,
Peaches.
pumpkin, clementine, peaches, coconut, and then for some reason Buttercup stayed up on top of the hill. She said, "I'm eating hay. I never get there in time to eat the grain anyhow."
Yeah, I remember when I was riding Coco and I fell off.
You did fall off, yeah.
You rode her?
The kids ride them and stuff, yeah.
Oh my
yep.
I
goodness.
was sliding down the neck.
You did go sliding down her neck.
And they're all women. They're all female.
Yeah, they're all females. Yep. So we artificially inseminate our girls. So we have an AI technician that comes and
AI. Is that the same AI?
No,
as I think about
artificial insemination. Yeah, and instead of artificial. So it's really cool. We have a catalog that comes, or we can go online and we pick our bulls, and they have EPDs that mean certain things, how much butter fat that their genetics will give, and all this stuff that I don't really understand. So we usually just go by birth weight, and then we'll pick a bull out of the magazine or online, and then the straws of semen will come in a tank that has liquid nitrogen in them. They'll warm them up, and we'll bring them into cycle. And when they're in heat, then we'll put them in the stanchion down there. He artificially inseminates them with a tube of semen, and then, you know, finds exactly where it needs to go. Boom, done.
Do you have high success rates with that?
It's pretty high. Yeah, it's we had an AI technician. She was our neighbor, and she was learning the ropes kinda. She wasn't the best, and she, bless her heart, she was crying because she just kept trying, couldn't get them. So she recommended another guy. He's been doing it for 40 years.
Wow.
And he'll talk to you while he's doing it, and you're like, are you done? He's like, oh yeah, I've been done. I mean, he's just like automatic. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's done thousands of them. So that's but Jersey bulls are very, very aggressive. They're super aggressive. So I didn't want anything on the farm that, you know, that's really hard to contain, that's kind of dangerous around people. So we just keep the girls, and
everybody called her a boy.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why she has horns and the other ones don't?
So the other ones have been disbudded.
Disbudded. That means the horns have been removed?
They have when they're little, within a month old. So kind of it's the way they've done it forever. They take a hot iron and they deaden the nerves where the horns grow. So so all the other ones have basically have the nerves deadened, so they can't grow horns. For whatever reason, we got her about 1.5 years ago, and she was in her 3rd lactation, I think. So she just had horns. Now, they were really sharp whenever we got her. So we had the vet come and blunt the end of her horns, because she was actually, when she would throw her head, she was hurting the girls, and they had scars and stuff on her. So I didn't want that. So yeah, and the boys have the little tips of the horns still that they keep. So you can tell they're here. You can see where they cut it off, and they will eventually grow back and get sharp. So
the reason why is like how they're butting into each other now is to protect them from harming themselves.
You got to kind of watch her, because you know cows just kind of throw their heads in there. That's naturally what they do. You really got to pay attention. She's not aggressive at all, but when she throws her head, if you catch that horn, you know I'm not a big fan of horns, but you know, we got her, and she's a really good cow. So you know, she can be. She's grumpy grandma, isn't she?
She runs around.
That's what we call her, grumpy grandma. Then this poor girl, we just got her in October.
Did you say her name was Buttercup?
Buttercup. She's the only non-fruit named cow on the farm. All the rest of them are named after fruit.
Oh, no,
so she got milk fever twice on us. Jersey cows are very notorious for having milk fever. What that is they're given so much calcium into their milk that they don't keep enough back in their body for their muscles.
Oh, no.
And so when she went down on us, she had no muscle control because it was a lack of calcium, and she got it twice. She was almost dead in the wintertime, but we had the vet out a bunch. We babied her, we doctored on her, and so she looks she looks too skinny. My cows are right on the edge of being a little over conditioned, but she's just barely under conditioned. So
what does over conditioned mean?
Fat cover. You know, it's really hard to keep fat on a dairy cow that's in lactation, because they put so much of their energy to milk They don't put it to their body condition. So whenever, so even you could triple their feed, and you would think, okay, that'll bring their body condition, you know, get a little fat cover, help with their muscle. They just put it all out in milk. So it's kind of different, but the vet gives us a pretty good record. He says you have very, very healthy dairy cows. But then this girl here, she's just an absolute sweetheart, but she's not conditioned like I'd like her to. But and it's a very, very slow process. You can't put the groceries to them too quick. So
gotcha.
But these cows are just, I mean, they're just big babies. They really are. Yep. They get handled every day, and when they get to the end of the barn, they want pets and scratches. So you can't take them up there until you give them enough pets and scratches, and they'll just take their neck and wrap around you, and it is the best thing ever.
That's beautiful.
They're really good cows. This chicken tractor is really why my grass is as green as it is. So this is what they call a chicken tractor, and it doesn't have any bottom to it. So you can see it's
oh, they're so tiny.
Yeah, these are just little layers that we're raising out for our friends. But this is what I use for that I raise my meat birds on. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll move it every day, and the chickens will actually be on fresh pasture every single day. We lift this here, and the wheels come up on it, and you just kind of move it every day. I won't move it too far. And then that way, the manure load goes into the ground. The ground has a chance to take the nutrients and stuff, and then you just keep moving them in a line.
Hello. Now, are they bred this small? Or are they babies?
They're pullets. So that's a female chicken that hasn't laid an egg yet. It's called a pullet. So yeah, I think they're just Rhode Island Reds or production Reds is what they are.
So what exactly is an Amish produce auction?
In a little town called Paoli, Ohio, that's about an hour east of here, there's a Schwarzentruber Amish community that is really good at raising produce. And so in the summertime and in the spring, they have an auction once a week. During peak produce season, it's twice a week, and it starts off with hanging baskets and transplants and garden plants and stuff like that. And then once produce season it kind of transitions into produce. So we'll go there, we'll buy the produce and the flowers and everything. We bring them back here and sell them to the public in our store and stuff. So awesome. It's we had a pretty good haul last night for our opening weekend. So
now, forgive me for my lack of information, but because they are Amish, can I assume that there's no fertilizers or anything like that being put on the produce?
Not as much. You know, it's not organic produce, but they have the produce auction is owned by an English guy, and he has a protocol for how that they need to raise their vegetables. Okay. So that when they're in the system and they're using the auction house to sell their stuff, they'll have inspectors come, and they're allowed to use a little bit of herbicides, pesticides, and stuff like that, but very minimal. Okay. So they try to be as organic as they can without being certified, but it's really hard to raise produce without raising it organic. It really is. If you don't use anything, the weeds and the bugs take over, and then you don't have anything. And if you use chemicals, well, then you're defeating the purpose of raising your own stuff. So it's kind of a balancing act. But it's really outstanding produce. It really is. So we built this last year about this time.
Wow, you built this?
Yeah, yep. So it's all out of timbers. That's from the Amish sawmill that's just down the road. And then this is our first haul. Yeah, yep. This will be a start, and then we'll go next week and get a little more. And
oh, they are beautiful.
Yeah, this is, we was selling, the first year we was selling out of canopies. Where we would go to town or we'd leave the farm, and the windstorm would blow through our canopies is across the road. So my dad said, no, you're not doing that anymore. We're going to build you a farm store. So this is usually full of produce and everything. And then it's pretty much honor system. There's money boxes right there. And if we're not here, customers just come and just get what they need. And we've not had a single person not pay. We've never had anything stolen. In fact, we've had the opposite problem is we know people overpay because the money doesn't add up at the end of the day. And we're like, someone paid way too much.
She wants to get down and touch your flowers.
She can.
She'll rip them all up.
She's not going to hurt a thing. They'll grow right back. She can run as much as she wants. You want to go, don't you?
It's beautiful because it's so sunshiny outside. It's so warm out there, but it's cool in here.
Yes, it is.
It's even breezy in here.
It is, yeah, and it stays like that in the summertime too. What? Yeah, it's
no installation that you can see. It's just timber.
No insulation.
Wow.
And you know, it's all local wood except for the studs for the walls are from Lowe's or Home Depot. I can't remember, but everything else is local wood.
Oh,
so
that's beautiful.
And it turned out really, really well.
Yes.
I thought about having homeschool classes in here once but that didn't kind of pan out this year. But I think next year that we'll start doing that because it's kind of has a little bit of a one-room schoolhouse feel.
It does. It really does. It really does.
I think that would be fun for the kids. So when I have my little vegetable garden over here, no herbicides, no pesticides, everything's basically organic. Where the problem is with like the Amish guys, the larger scale guys where they're really needing the yield, that's where they've got to really selectively use the herbicides and pesticides. But for small scale guys where I'm not really living or dying on, you know, my profit margins, we don't use anything. You know? And a lot of your soil amendments, and if you get your soil right, you won't need as much herbicides or pesticides. It really helps, you know, with that because I'm not really one to really talk at length on soil health, you know, but I know enough to know that compost is the best stuff in the world. And there's natural soil amendments that you can do to get your soil to where it needs to be. And then you can change the pH and the sugar levels of your plants and your produce where the pests can't eat it. They can't digest it. It's really amazing. And it's more complicated than that. But if you get your soil right, the produce that you produce won't be edible to pests, but it'll be more nutritious to you, and you won't have to use none or hardly any of it. You won't have any pest issues with your produce and stuff.
That's awesome.
So soil health and the makeup of your soil is really where it's at with gardening. If you get that taken care of, most of the other stuff will kind of take care of itself.
So for those people that are like really like ill compost, cow manure, is it their best bet just buying local from someone that already produces it? Yep.
And you know, compost doesn't necessarily have to be manure. Most of the time it has some manure in, but it can be, you know, any carbon-based compost has a lot, like ours had a lot of hay in it, a lot of straw in it, and your carbon is what you need. Then it, you know, interacts with the nutrients in there to get broke down, and then you have your soil structure and your, you know, all this other stuff. The soil analysis people can talk way more about it than I can, but just to keep it simple where everybody can, you know, understand, you know, the compost is where it's at. And you can compost in an apartment, you know, it's really easy, and it's not, you know, a pile of manure is stuck somewhere. You know, you can do it to where there's no smell to it whatsoever, and you can compost a lot of stuff.
I was at Aldi's the other day, and they had a little compost bin that you could buy. So that seems pretty convenient.
You know, and then we take, we might not compost a lot of our kitchen scraps, but we'll feed them to the hogs or the chickens, and then that's basically indirectly composting it, and it's not going to a landfill or nothing like that. So that's really another benefit of having livestock is the manure. You know, as gross as it might kind of sound, for the compost, that is just, sometimes that's just as important as the meat or the eggs or the milk that you get off of stuff like that. You know, it's really important. And that's how humans have lived for thousands of years. You know, there was no petrochemical fertilizers. They didn't have, you know, and then it's made our food not as nutritious because it's made with a lot of these unnatural fertilizers. There isn't, the background nutrients aren't there that you get, the plant gets from good fertilizer, or I'm sorry, from good compost. So yeah, it's composting and soil health. That's where it's at. So
awesome.
Yep.
So for a lot of my people that are currently following me on YouTube right now, we are at baby steps.
Yeah.
We're just now like, I want to do it, but where do I start?
Yeah.
So definitely getting their gardens, getting their hands into something. But would you say the end goal is developing an entire ecosystem?
You grow where God plants you. So if God has planted you in an apartment, don't ever think that you can't homestead from an apartment in the city. There's so much stuff, especially nowadays with, hydroponics and stuff like that you can do with patio gardening, with container gardening and stuff like that. Even if you wanted to get into like livestock, I know people that live in apartment buildings that raise Conturnix quail. They're tiny little quail that are prolific layers. And instead of like having a rabbit hutch, these things lay and lay and lay and lay and lay. The eggs are about this big, but you do it in an apartment. So
quail
you can homestead anywhere God plants you. I truly believe that. Yeah. Yep.
That's beautiful.
Like anybody would say you can't run a micro dairy off of less than 5 acres. Well, they probably was right till I started it, and then now the Dohertys that I spoke of earlier, we was at a conference last year, and he said the best thing about you is you don't know enough to know that you can't do something. So if someone's been told all their life you can't do that, chances are you're not going to do it. Well, I just wung it and it worked out. I got lucky. I studied and figured out how to do stuff, and it's you can run a micro dairy on less than 5 acres. We're going to process milk out here and make it, real nice and sanitary and everything. Yeah, there you go. Then this is our walk-in cooler.
Oh,
so this is where we keep our milk. And
oh, wow. So cool. That's awesome. Oh, it feels good in here. So these are all milk?
Yeah, yep. That's we get right now we're milking 6 cows and we're getting about 8 gallons of milking. So we're getting about 16 gallons a day.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
And then I built this walk-in for butchering purposes, sides of beef and pigs and lambs and goats and everything. And then it just turned into a walk-in for produce and for milk storage. So.
Oh, I love it.
And cows, yep.
I love it.
So then over here, this will be our milk processing room. And we'll have a bulk tank set up. And then that way we can cool our milk down really well. It'll have a sink in it. This fridge will be in there. And then it'll just be a lot better than trying to do it in the house.
Beautiful.
Do you see what I mean? Like, there were chickens and goats and hogs and, oh my goodness, less than 5 acres. The last video I was really emphasizing less than $5, but they are emphasizing less than 5 acres. And as he said in the video before, start wherever God placed you. Wherever God placed you, nothing is too big, nothing is too small, nothing is too little, etc. You can do it. You can do it. Take your time. You can do it, baby. You can do it. Okay, so I'm so excited for you. Your journey has officially begun. Whether you wanted to or not, you're here and you're stuck like glue. Okay, so comment down below where you are on your journey. Could you have goats and chickens? Do you think that's for you? Or are you good with just your herb garden for your teas and a little something here and there? And, I'm going to emphasize it once more. We don't know what the socioeconomic climate is going to look like. We don't know what the grocery store prices are going to be. We don't know what our employment status is going to be. But what we do know is that God gave us tools. If there's anything specific that you want to see, he mentioned before about canning, sourdough making, cheese making, soap making. I could show you a little bit about candle making, dehydrating herbs for teas and tinctures and different things like that. So comment down below, what do you want to see? I'm the moderator here, but this is your channel. This is for you. So comment down below on the different things that you want to see, where you are in your journey, and we'll go from there. We will take our time and do it right. We can do it, baby. Okay, so have grace with yourself, have grace with the world around you, and good luck on your journey.